Hi everyone, you are watching Eagle News. I'm Ralph Cornell in Washington. It's Saturday, July 30th, 2022 here in the nation's capital. This week's recap begins now. Flash flooding caused by torrential rains has killed, as of press time, at least 15 people in eastern Kentucky. Governor Andy Beshear says the death toll is expected to double.
We have now lost at least 15 Kentuckians, though that number is going to grow, probably more than double. We know some of the loss will include children. We may have even lost entire families. We have over 23,000 Kentuckians still without power, many counties without water.
He says hundreds of people have been rescued by boat, and there have been about 50 aerial rescues using helicopters deployed by the National Guard. Some areas reported receiving more than 8 inches of rain in a 24-hour period. The water level of the North Fork of the Kentucky River at Whitesburg has risen to a staggering 20 feet, well above its previous record of 14.7 feet. It is hot and will only get hotter. Millions of Americans are warned about extreme heat, especially in the coming days. Franz Gillian Valero tells us what the country's lawmakers are asking the president to do about it.
The heat wave is so severe that heat advisories have been issued for more than 75 million Americans. 14 million of those people live in areas described as excessive heat spots. That's where the temperature regularly exceeds 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 38 degrees Celsius. More than 60 lawmakers in Congress have urged President Joe Biden to declare a climate emergency, but so far, the president has resisted. The White House does say such a declaration remains an option. Instead, Biden has pledged to spend millions of federal dollars on climate change measures, upgrading infrastructure and installing air conditioning in homes. A climate emergency would allow him to increase support for renewable energy programs. It could also be used to block oil or gas drilling projects, something that would likely be challenged in court. Some law experts believe the declaration could suffer the same fate as former President Donald Trump's national emergency to build a wall on the country's southern border. Courts ruled the action as exceeding his authority. In the meantime, as the U.S. is scorched by a continuing heat wave, Biden says he takes climate change seriously and will take significant action on the issue. Franz Gillian Valerio, Los Angeles, California, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
Meanwhile, in Pennsylvania, residents are warned of another kind of danger: fraudsters. Let's find out from Mila Simbulan what the MO is of the new scam targeting businesses in the state.
The Pennsylvania Department of Revenue adamantly warns Pennsylvanians of a new scam in which fraudsters send phony letters to business owners to try to trick them into turning over their accounting records.
The fraudsters behind this new scam are sending Pennsylvania business owners fraudulent letters in the mail that direct them to turn over their accounting records. That's especially alarming because the phony letters may look legitimate. They have the Department of Revenue's name and logo on them. And it's very important for us to put Pennsylvanians on high alert.
The goal of the scam is to make the recipient of the letter believe they are being investigated by the Department of Revenue for an alleged violation of delinquent sales tax liability. The letter threatens taxpayers by saying penalties will be imposed on their accounts. The letter also includes contact information for a resolution officer and urges the business owner to provide accounting records prepared by a licensed professional, such as an attorney or CPA. Providing this information allows the scammers to comb through the accounting records for sensitive information such as bank account numbers and other financial data. This could potentially be used to make unauthorized transactions, request fraudulent tax refunds, and even apply for loans under the name of the business. In order to avoid scam, ensure you are speaking with legitimate representative of the department. Meticulously examine the notice for identifying information that can be verified and conduct research online such as the name, address, or telephone number. Myla Simbulan, Swarthmore, Pennsylvania, Eagle News, we live in extraordinary times.
Now let's head over to Las Vegas, where Anna Kui updates us on housing market trends and what this means for those wanting to sell or those planning to purchase a house this time. Anna?
New home sales in June fell to the lowest level since April 2020 due to a declining builder sentiment, according to the National Association of Home Builders. New home sales are down 13.4% in 2022 on a year-to-date basis. Builders saw sales decline significantly as buyers backed out of contracts due to being priced out of the market on higher mortgage rates. And with another interest rate hike by the Fed by 0.75 percentage point for the second straight month, many wonder how it will continue to affect the housing market. Some experts say it will unlikely cause any further damage to mortgage rates, predicting home sales will soon stabilize. We could be seeing a near end of the pandemic-driven housing market conditions as numbers of new single-family home inventory start to climb up. According to NAHB, it remained elevated at a 9.3-month supply, up 60.3% over last year, with 457,000 available for sale. The median sales price dipped to $402,400 in June, down 9.5% compared to May, but it is up 7.4% compared to a year ago. Year over year to date, new home sales fell in all 4 regions in the U.S., down 12.1% in the Northeast, 24.8% in the Midwest, 12.6% in the South, and 9.6% in the West, according to NAHB. Here in Las Vegas, over 2,600 single-family homes were sold in June, which is down 8.2% from May and down 24.7% from June 2021, according to a recent report from LasVegasRealtor.com. New home inventory was 4,674 in June, up almost 16% from May and about 22% year over year. Industry experts say current mortgage rates is helping to cool down the demand for home purchases. If this trend continues, some are hoping to see a resemblance of the pre-pandemic market conditions in the near future. Anna Kui, Las Vegas, Nevada, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
In other news, as violence and chaos grip the capital city of Papua New Guinea, law enforcement struggled to restore peace and order. Echo Hortaliza Quinola updates us on the ongoing election disputes fueling the conflict. Here's Oceania at a glance.
The atmosphere in the national capital city has slightly calmed down after the unrest and violence that gripped the streets days ago. However, schools, some business firms, and other roads remain closed. Law enforcers are working round the clock to restore peace and order. City leaders encourage the candidates to talk to supporters and end the violence, allowing normalcy to return to the capital. As of this report, counting of ballots has resumed in Surgeon Stadium under the supervision of the Papua New Guinea Defence Force and Papua New Guinea Royal Constabulary Police.
In Port Moresby, we're having a general election where of Electoral Commission will be declaring all the members who is leading the race. I think some boxes will be left, so the others runner-up will be feeling frustrated. So they will demand the Electoral Commission to give another 7 days so to continue the counting. Otherwise, they declare that whoever is leading, when they declare, it's going to create some chaos in Papua New Guinea. As a Papua New Guinean man, I wish the outcome of the election, I wish a peaceful man and a good leader to take a prime minister and run our country to bring our economies and the standard of our country back to this level.
There is also a proposal of extending the date of writs return from the original July 29, 2022 deadline to August 12, 2022 to complete all ballot countings in the entire Papua New Guinea. Echo Hortaleza Quinola, Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
Creations of pottery artists in Australia are on center stage for this year's North Queensland Ceramic Awards. To tell us more, here's Morgan Goodfellow in Townsville.
Townsville's Perk Tucker Regional Gallery holds an assembly of local, national and international exhibitions. This season, the North Queensland Ceramic Awards is happening. The biennial awards has long aimed to increase public exposure to a high standard of pottery from around the nation. A showcase for both well-known and emerging artists, this competition displays the diversity of ceramic art currently produced here in Australia. The City of Townsville Art Collection awards $10,000, aiming to provide opportunities for artists to become a part of one of the nation's most significant ceramic art collections. The prize also aims to ensure the continued growth of this important subsection of the City of Townsville Art Collection. A combined exposition will also showcase Pat Hoffey's high-vis exhibition, shining a light on the role of personal protective equipment in the Australian workplace. The inspiration behind the collection follows the artist's trip through Townsville, northern New South Wales, Tasmania, and the Flinders Ranges, seeing the changing faces of those wearing high-visibility uniforms, including women, First Nations Australians, and immigrants. This event is on until the 25th of September. The North Queensland Ceramic Awards is open to the public, sure to spark some interesting conversation about what each artwork means. As always, entry to the Perk Tucker Regional Gallery is free. Morgan Goodfellow, Townsville, Australia, OceaniaAtAGlance, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
On today's Mind Your Business, correspondent Bobby Soriano reports on how the U.S. continues to confront a seemingly inevitable economic recession.
Official data this week is indicating that the U.S. economy is in recession. Well, it kind of depends on who you ask. The data, according to the U.S. Commerce Department, showed that gross domestic product declined at an annual rate of 0.9% the second quarter of 2022, following a bigger drop in the first 3 months of the year. Historically, 2 quarters of negative growth is viewed as a strong signal that a recession is underway. But between the lingering effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and geopolitical turmoil in Europe, it's difficult to make a comparison of this economy's data to previous recessions in the past. President Biden insisted that the U.S. economy is on the right path, despite the slowdown, touting a strong labor market. Citing unemployment levels being at near record lows and more than 1 million jobs created last quarter, the president didn't think those numbers were indicative of a recession.
Our job market remains historically strong. Our economy created more than 1 million jobs in the second quarter, the same period as today's GDP report covers. And our unemployment rate is 3.6%, near a record historic low.
Nevertheless, American families continue to feel the bite from sky-high inflation. As consumer prices continue to go up, the U.S. consumer needs to cut back on purchases to stay on budget. This results in a lower demand for goods and services that are not deemed necessary. Lower demand of products then leads to workers being let go, leading to even lower spending power by consumers, which leads to a national downturn in economic activity where few are able to buy anything and few are able to produce anything, otherwise known as a recession. Now, to combat the inflation of consumer prices, the U.S. Central Bank has been raising interest rates, first gradually and now aggressively, with the most recent rate hike being 75 basis points. The hope is that by increasing the base federal interest rate, businesses will slow down their expansion and allow for inflation to cool off in a controlled manner without affecting consumer spending power as much as mass unemployment would. But the Federal Reserve must be very careful with raising interest rates, as a rate hike that is too aggressive could also lead to a huge jump in unemployment, as businesses try to find a way to cut spending in the face of increased borrowing costs. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell agreed with President Biden and other economists who say that GDP figures are inconsistent with other strong data to suggest a recession is inevitable, further stating that there are too many areas of the economy that are still performing too well. But he also acknowledged that the path to cooling down price pressures without causing a downturn or a big jump in joblessness continues to narrow. Bobby Soriano, New York, New York, Eagle News, we live in extraordinary times.
Asia in DC. That's the goal of the street fair recently celebrated at Capitol Hill. Let's join Arlene Ocampo for a quick tour on NBC Files.
In International Cultural Awareness Month is celebrated every year here in Washington, D.C. Today is a celebration of Asian heritage here at the Fiesta Asia Street Fair at Capitol Hill. Fiesta Asia Street Fair began in 2006 and is in conjunction with Asian Heritage Month commemorations and is an anchor partner of Passport DC presented by Cultural Tourism DC. There are many things to see and participate in, from live performances, craft exhibits, food vendors, and many more. With the wide spread of things to experience, hope you enjoyed your trip around Asia without leaving the city. Arlene Ocampo, Embassy Files, Eagle News, we live in extraordinary times.
Inspired by her travels around the world, Evelyn Cooper, a retiree from IBM, decided to open a shop specializing in African and globally inspired apparel and home decor. In Corpus Christi, Texas, Lots of Arts Boutique offers one-of-a-kind gifts and products and also serves as a gathering place for weekend women's and community groups.
Imagine having a business that lets you bring color, culture, and community directly to the homes of your clients. Today, we meet a woman in Corpus Christi, Texas, who is doing just that. Meet Evelyn Cooper, owner and operator of Lots of Art, a boutique specializing in globally inspired apparel, as well as unique gifts and cultural decor.
You're going to see colors. First of all, that's what's going to hit you. It's a globally inspired place, but it has a distinctive African aesthetic. And so you'll see a lot of color, you'll see clothing, you'll see accessories, you'll see home decor, all with the global aesthetic to it. I started working with IBM in 1975, and I retired in 2000 after 25 years. What inspired me? Whenever I would travel, and I've traveled all over with IBM, I always searched out African American owned businesses. I also would go to museums in New York, the Met, and to the different museums whenever I had a chance to be in that area on business.
Since the boutique first opened its doors in 1994, it has grown to become a highly sought-after resource for Afrocentric clothing with fabric and designs inspired by tribes from Africa, Indonesia, Morocco, India, and other cultures around the globe. From scarves, sarongs, jewelry, and free-flowing wearable art, to tapestries, kitchen decor, and designs from local artists, Lots of Art offers rare, unique gifts and accessories that complement any style and cater to those wishing to make a bold statement.
We used to call these kulaks.
And what do I love about this store? What's not to love? Everywhere you look, there's something unique, something you've never seen before, something you want to wear, something you want to own, something you want to show your friends, give to your friends. It's a magnificent place and just a joy to come in and look around.
Sometimes people will say, I don't think I can wear that. It looks great on you. And all I ask them to do is give it a try. The store has always been a hub for community events. Even when we were in Sunrise Mall, that's where it started. But we've also hosted Women's History Month events, Black History Month, just anything that will bring people together in our community, we host here at the store. Sometimes you have to just step out on faith. If you're not passionate about it, you're not going to stick with it. I started this journey in 1994, and that's a long time to be in any business, but especially a woman minority-owned business that specializes in African and Afrocentric and globally inspired merchandise. It's something that I am passionate about and remain so even now. And sometimes people just need someone to listen to them. And so I just say, be true to your customers, be true to yourself, and you'll have a long-term relationship.
Jane Kathleen Gregorio, Eagle News, Corpus Christi, Texas. We live in extraordinary times.
Is there really a kind of vitamin that may reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression? Let's ask Dr. David Oria what studies are saying about it. Here's today's Health is Wealth.
According to the National Institute of Mental Health, or NIMH, about 31% of adults in the United States experience some type of anxiety disorder at some point in their lives. The percentages are very similar for young adults between 13 and 18. The NIMH also reports that about 8.4% of all adults in the US experienced a depressive episode in 2020. Especially in recent years, feelings of anxiety and sadness have increased among all age groups. Persistent, life-disrupting levels of these emotions have the potential to develop into various mental health disorders including panic, generalized anxiety, social anxiety, and major depressive disorder. But a recent study at the University of Reading in the United Kingdom examined how vitamin B6 and vitamin B12 may impact the symptoms of anxiety and depression. The researchers aimed to learn to what degree vitamins B6 and B12 affect the neurotransmitter in the brain that contributes to someone developing these symptoms. Interestingly, the findings were mixed. The study results indicated that vitamin B6 can be helpful in reducing symptoms of anxiety and depression. The authors believe that this is because of the role vitamin B6 plays in the synthesis of brain neurotransmitters GABA and glutamate. However, the study did not show that vitamin B12 provided as significant of an improvement in anxiety and depression symptoms. Despite the mixed findings, the study may provide a helpful tool for healthcare providers treating patients with anxiety or depression. Vitamin B6 supplements are readily available over the counter at most drugstores and retailers. More data around this topic still needs to be seen, but the research team is hopeful that people may be able to decrease symptoms of anxiety or depression using vitamin B6, helping them avoid the side effects of prolonged use of certain prescription medications. David Oria, Health is Wealth, Eagle News.
Thank you all for joining us again. If there are any stories or topics you want us to share with you, just comment below. View, like, share our other shows. City Limits with Alan Basiliahe. Connected with Dr. David. Take a seat and join us with Anna Kui. Plate Date with Mike Hudson and Friends. Plus, Journey, Stories of Filipinos in Canada with Kathleen Cruz. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Eagle News Live. I'm Ralph Cornell. We live in extraordinary times. Happy weekend, everyone.